Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking about stress and how it can actually be good for you. I know that sounds really counterintuitive because we're raised to believe that stress is really bad for us, but by reframing how we view stress and how we manage it, we can actually make it help our mental and physical health. So firstly, what is stress? Well, there are a number of different definitions for stress, and the World Health Organization defines it as a state of worry or mental tension that's caused by a difficult situation. Every single one of us experiences stress in our lives at one point or another, and we usually think of stress as a negative thing, but actually it can also be a positive thing. There's a concept of good stress, which is sometimes called eustress, and there's a concept of bad stress, which is sometimes called distress. Good stress or eustress can actually have positive impacts on our mental health and our physical health. Good stress can help sharpen our mental focus, it can boost creativity, it can help our cardiovascular system, it can also increase motivation and productivity, and increase our energy and resilience, amongst other positive effects as well. On the other hand, bad stress or distress can have negative effects on our mental health and our physical health. This includes increasing the risk of anxiety and depression, impairing our cognitive function and memory, weakening our immune system, giving us digestive problems like irritable bowel syndrome, and ruining our sleep quality and quantity. So you know now that there's good stress and bad stress, and that there are positive and negative effects on our mental and physical health. But you might be thinking to yourself, why do we actually need to turn the bad stress into good stress? The answer to that really lies in our society today, and the fact that the majority of us are experiencing very prolonged periods of bad stress. And this is absolutely detrimental to our physical and mental health. Even when we think we're relaxing and we feel stress-free, we actually have a background level of stress that's ongoing that we're not even really aware of. Our baseline stress levels are way higher than they should be. And unfortunately, we can't just click our fingers and get rid of stress. So we need to find a way to turn that bad stress into positive stress. Well, the way to do it is to actually change your perception of stress and how you're managing it. The way that we think about stress has a really big impact in how we experience it. Most of the time, we view stress as a threat. We think of that performance review or that exam as threatening and worrying. And when we view stress as a threat, our body responds with all the negative effects on our mental and physical health that I mentioned before. If, however, we were to view that same exact situation as a challenge and an opportunity for personal growth, then our body would respond by viewing it as positive stress and giving us the positive effects on our mental and physical health. This book gave a really good analogy that helped me understand why the perception of stress is so important. So imagine you're in a desert and you see a gazelle being chased by a lion. If we look at the gazelle is obviously under a lot of bad stress. She's running and she's trying to fight for her survival. She's under threat, so her body is responding with the negative side effects of bad stress just to keep her alive. The gazelle's heart is pumping blood faster throughout the body, so it's beating very fast. Her breathing is becoming shallow so that she can get more oxygen into her lungs. Blood in her brain is being diverted to her muscles, all so that she can survive this attack from the lion. She's obviously going through a bad stress response because she needs to survive. But what's surprising is that if we look at the lion is also undergoing a stress response. But the lion's stress response is very, very different, and the lion is experiencing a completely different effect on their body. The lion is looking at the chase as a challenge because it's an opportunity for its next meal. So the lion's body is also under stress because the lion wants to do everything it can in order to achieve the goal of catching the gazelle. More blood is being pumped to its brain so it can have more clarity, more focus, more creativity. It's got increased energy and motivation, and all of these things, the positive stress response that it's experiencing, are helping it reach its goal of that challenge of trying to get the gazelle and eat the delicious meal. So the lion is experiencing a positive, challenging stress response, and the gazelle is experiencing a bad, negative stress response. Now, of course, if you're being chased by a lion, you need to have a bad stress response like the gazelle, because the bad stress response actually helps keep us alive. It's there for survival. Problem is, we're experiencing this bad stress response in our day-to-day activities like sending an email or taking a phone call. And that's where the real problem is. We need to, in those situations where it's not life-threatening, change that stress response so that we're experiencing a positive stress response rather than a negative one. We need to embrace stress and think like the lion. Instead of viewing stress as a threat, we need to view it as a challenge. The first thing that we can do is reframe how we think about the stressful situation. We need to take the threat out of that experience. So instead of thinking a threatening belief about a particular situation, we need to think of it in a challenge belief. Instead of thinking, if I fail, it means I'm not cut out for this, we need to think, if I fail, it means I'm challenging myself. Or instead of thinking, I'll never be able to pull this off, we need to think, I have what it takes to pull this off, and if I struggle, I'll ask for help. The next thing that we can do is actually create a better stress mindset for ourselves. A researcher at Stanford University called Dr. Elissa Olivia Crum, actually found out that the way we perceive and our mindset about stress changes depending on the information that we have about it. So she conducted a short study where she gave groups of people a questionnaire on their stress mindset. She noticed that if she gave people negative information about stress before they took the questionnaire, they responded in a negative way. But if she gave people positive information about stress before they took the questionnaire, they responded in a positive way. So in the end, what she noticed is that our stress mindset is malleable. It can change. So the more we think about stress in a positive way, the more we focus on the positive effects of stress, the more likely it is for us to develop a strong, positive stress mindset. The next thing we can do to help improve our stress management and our resilience is making sure that we foster our social connections. We all know the importance of having good relationships with our family and friends, but it's just good to be mindful of the fact that if we do have strong social support, it can help us manage our stress better and be more resilient. And finally, another great way to help manage your stress is by practicing mindfulness and meditation. These two practices help us become more aware of our thoughts and emotions so that we're better able to manage them. So there you have it. Reframing your thoughts about stress and thinking about it in a more positive way can actually help you reap the positive effects of stress so that you can improve your mental health and physical health. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. And if you want to hear more information on mental health and personal development, then make sure you subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video.